Hey, welcome to Parent Conversations. We're coming to you live from Salt Lake City in the Crystal Inn. Thank you. Tomorrow is Suicide Prevention Day at the Capitol, and Sharilee and I are both going to be attending that. We're looking forward to it. And we managed to check in early enough that we can have Wi-Fi and host parent conversations. So we are on one computer this afternoon, and we're glad that you're here. Hey, we wanted to say thank you again to the Bear River Health Department and to the Davis County Health Department and the Central Utah Public Health Department. The grants that they have so generously given to us are what make parent conversations possible. And we want to thank you parents for coming, taking time out of your day. We want to thank those of you that watch the replays and invite you to join us live. Today, we're going to do what we're calling a deep dive into the SHARP survey data. The SHARP survey is all of a sudden I can't think of what the acronym stands for. If you can think of it, you know what, you're going to look. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Student health and risk prevention. And it's done every couple of years. It's given to different grades at different times. And it assesses kind of where students are, where their risky behavior.
Yeah, and I can go into this.
Yeah, she's going to go into more. So Sharilee is going to take over, and she's going to give us like I said, the deep dive. If you have any questions, raise your hand or put it in the chat. Like I said, we're on one computer. So, if you're not afraid to speak out, then that would work really well for me today, but we will still do our best to watch the chat and make sure that we get that. We also have to share the screen, so it's going to be interesting. So anyway, Sharilee, it's all you.
Okay, excellent. So you guys, today is really, really important because as mentioned, we're doing a deep dive into the prevention efforts, okay, and into the SHARP data. So basically, that we will be determining today kind of the direction that we spend the next 2 years. The SHARP survey is administered to schools statewide every 2 years, to 6th graders, 8th, 10th and 12th graders. And so as we get in here, you'll be able to see some of the different things that it goes into. But what this is then it provides data so that different cities, municipalities, schools, the different organizations can really have a clear picture of what's happening. We're going to be looking at kind of what's happening statewide. Okay, but you can literally, it's online, you will all have access to see what's happening in your county. And if, the schools can actually go down and look and see what is happening in their schools, okay? And so, maybe on a statewide level, we have like a certain thing is happening in the area of community engagement. But if you were to look in your specific area or in your county, it may be different because again, the statewide data is kind of that average statewide. So we really want your feedback on this. We will be looking on a statewide level and really teaching you how to look at the data. What I would love to have you do is go through and look at the data for your area. And then let us know kind of what are the things that you've noticed in your area so that the local community coordinator can focus a little bit more in that. The really great thing about the Discovery Family Adventures and the Discovery Family Coalition is that we really focus on family bonding and family time, which really is the foundation of everything, okay, is what we look in as far as the risky behavior and the protective factors. So what we do really does impact all of the areas. However, that said, we can also, for example, if, let's say if some of the parents in Box Elder County get looking into the data and they say, you know what, we really have an issue going on in underage drinking. We really need to focus on that area. That seems to be, something that our youth are struggling with, or the data is moving in the wrong direction. what we can do is the local coordinator there, the local community coordinator, can kind of focus in that area to make sure that, you know, that there are any of the resources that help in that area are, you know, presented in the Facebook community. They can, you know, with the messaging, we have some great messaging campaigns in multiple different areas. And so if there's something that's really important in a specific area, we can provide those resources to the community coordinators so that they can help specifically in their local area. So the work that we are doing with the Discovery Family Adventures is really the foundation, okay, and works on the foundation and is able to support all of these other programs. But we also have that ability to focus more specifically in an area if needed as well. So, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so this, again, this is available online. In fact, well, I'm not sure what. Okay, you can also, I will actually share the link, or you could even just do a search that says Sharp Data 2021. So this is the 2021 data that will now kind of inform the organizations for the next 2 years. And we'll look at this data and determine what we're going to do for 2022 and 2023. And then it will be administered again in 2023. And we'll use that to inform for 2024 and 2025. Okay.
So I'm going to ask a question really quick.
Yes.
Does every state, you Google that, it'll take you to a website and it has every state's breakdown?
This is Utah.
I know, but the website,
no, this is the Utah profile report. So you want to put Sharp Data. I don't know that, I know that there are other states that do this. I don't know that every state does this.
Okay, so put Utah in your search.
Yes.
Okay, that's answered my question. Okay.
Okay, so let's
share
kind
the
of
screen.
Well, it is shared. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
Okay, so, you know, again, it's going to have the table of contents, all of that. Okay, this is just giving you information. You can actually see how many students. Okay, so here you can see that, and now this was for 2017. And here's 2019, and I've got boxes in my way for 2021, but you can see here how many students participated in the survey. Okay, so you can see how that's growing too. Okay, this is something that, so in 2017 there are only 50,000 families or students that participated. There are a lot more schools now that are realizing, you know what, this is important data for us to have, and this can really help us, okay? So now we have 71,000 students. You can see how many are male and female, and you know, just all of the demographic information is there, okay? It does have a section that talks about COVID-19. And you know what, you guys, I was able to admit from there, so that's good. Okay, so you can go through, this gives you some information on understanding the charts, but we're also going to talk about it as well. Okay, but if we get down here, I want to get down to the section where we actually get into the charts. We're not going to look at all of them, but this is definitely one that we want to look at. The grants that we have actually are on E-Cig and vaping. It's an E-Cig and vaping grant. So we're going to look at that one as well. But you can see here, okay, so this is basically, if you look at this area, this is the alcohol. You've got lifetime use and past 30-day use. And then the same thing with marijuana, lifetime use, past 30 days, and with prescription drugs. Okay, so let's go ahead and look over here at some of the things that you might want to, to notice, okay? First of all, so lifetime use, okay, these are the years, okay? So the orange is 2017, yellow 2019, and the blue is 2021, okay? And then here you've got the grades. So what we can see here from looking at this, okay, there's really good news in here. If we look at the all, okay, it is on the decrease, which is good news, okay? So on the lifetime use, Okay, we have fewer and fewer students. So it's moving in the right direction. That's exciting. Okay, but then we also need to look at, okay, you notice the 12th graders, it's dropping, 10th graders, it's dropping, not quite as much, but some. The 8th graders, it's dropped a little bit, but this is a concern. Look what's happening. Our 6th graders, we have more 6th graders than ever that they have used alcohol at least one time during their lifetime. Okay, now the other part to look at there, and again, each category, if you will, each risky behavior or risk factor may be a little bit different, but if you look at this, okay, the good news is we jumped this over into in the past 30 days, and it is actually very low, which is good, okay? But again, we can see it's a little bit on the rise there, and you've got the, the numbers here to tell you. So the point of this is to show you that it's, yes, the charts, you can get a kind of a really quick look just looking at the charts, but there are other things to look at. We don't want to just look at this and go, okay, good, it's all moving in the right direction. We also want to take note that, wait a minute, our 6th graders, and that is actually kind of statewide in a lot of areas, our 6th graders are struggling, okay? We do have some great things happening. There are, the data is moving in the right direction. Now, still a bit of a concern, to look at here and go, okay, 20%, we still have over 20%, 22%, in fact, if I'm looking at that right, 22% of our seniors, so almost 1 in 4 has tried alcohol, has, drunk underage. That is still a concern, but it's better than the 30% up here. Up here we had what, 33 or something. Okay, again, I've got a box in the way. Okay, so this is great news that we're moving in the right direction. We need to keep working on that, keep, with the education, the messaging, some of these other things that we're going to look at the data, the attitudes. We need to keep working on that so that it keeps moving in the right direction for our older teens, our 10th and 12th graders, even our 8th graders. But with our 6th graders, that tells us we need to get some messaging to them. Okay, that's moving in the wrong direction. Okay, and again, you've got this same, with the data for marijuana and for prescription drugs. Okay, which again is, I'm going to move it up a little bit so that I don't have boxes in the way. But again, looking at, the prescription drugs, for the most part, okay, you look at the all, it's really hasn't changed a whole lot since 2019, okay, but it's at least down a little bit. But again, you look at the 6th graders, it's up. The 8th graders, it's up, okay? So we need to really focus on educating our 6th and 8th graders, and a lot of that ties into the attitudes towards the parental attitudes and the youth attitudes. So that's another area that is measured. It's not just the use, but it's also the the attitudes towards it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another area. So this next one, this is where we get into the cigarettes and vaping. Okay, very interesting data here. Okay, again, as you look at that, and you've got lifetime, and then you've got in the past 30 days. Okay, so again, overall, it's dropping, not as much as it had with the alcohol use, but it's dropped. The 12th graders, it's dropped quite a bit, especially over the past 4 years. The same with the 10th, okay? 8th graders, it's up a little bit, and 6th graders, it's up. So again, we really are needing to focus on our 6th graders. But here again, you move over with the vaping. Now again, looking at this, okay, so you've got the lifetime use, but then when you jump over here to in the past 30 days, okay, there's still, very low numbers. This is good. Of course, we want to get it to where it's 0. But that tells us that, okay, so they're trying it, maybe we have more and more 6th graders that are trying it once, not that many that have, that are picking it up as a habit, and that have actually done in the last 30 days.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to just mention about that is that, yes, we definitely want to reach out to our 6th graders, 7th graders, but also the families of our 3rd through 5th graders, because those are upcoming 6th graders, and we want to nip this, right?
Yes, absolutely, Tori. Thank you. Keep going.
Around here in Box Elder County, 6th grade is in a different school than 5th grade. I don't know if that's how it is everywhere. But I think that probably most of our campaigns, we see it as kind of being more serious in middle school. These kids are not in middle school yet. If we want to address the 5th and 6th graders, we've got 6th graders over in the intermediate school, and 5th graders are still in their elementaries.
Yes. Tori, thank you for pointing that out. You are so right. Let me point out a couple of other things, which actually that's one of the real strengths of the program of what we're doing. Okay. And first of all, I want to point out a difference between prevention and I guess what's even the other word? They talk about it in terms of stream, okay, being upstream and downstream, okay? This is one of the real benefits of the Discovery Family Adventures. As we all know, this is to get to the family from, we've got Emily. I'm going to, call her out. I see Emily has joined us. She has this beautiful little, what did we decide? 15-month-old. And she is starting right now on that family bonding and using these adventures. That's perfect. Because yes, we have a program that is designed to work with the kids to build that bonding and basically help you as parents, support you as parents, and empower you as parents to be a prevention specialist from the very beginning. Because Tori is absolutely right. It's those 6th graders, they're not just all of a sudden they're in 6th grade and it's like, now, okay, now we need to focus on them. We are very much upstream. Okay, we are on prevention. Prevention is a matter of being upstream. And then you have kind of your, middle stream where they're starting to, maybe experiment kind of thing, but they're not really, it's more kind of the middle stream. And then you have the treatment. I guess that's it. I guess that's what they call it. We are not, what we are doing is we are very upstream. Let's prevent this. Let's prevent this from the get-go. Let's start with these kids when they are 15 months old, when they are in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, so that by the time they get to 6th grade, we don't have any of this going on. Because even here in 6th grade, this sharp data, this is, this is midstream. These are the kids that are beginning to, to experiment. And then of course, you've got, these that are in the past 30 days, this moves into the treatment area, and we don't provide anything in the treatment area. There absolutely are programs, that do, and we can, share information on that. But yes, that's kind of the downstream where, okay, now we have the problem. Now we need to find a treatment. But yes, as Tori said, we very much want to focus on helping these kids and empowering parents when the kids are as young as possible, so that we can prevent it altogether. Very good point. Thank you, Tori. So, again, looking at the vaping, okay, and we can see here that this is a much bigger, this used to, years ago, before vaping was here, kind of the whole issue was over here in lifetime use, okay? Now we've got, I'm sorry, not in lifetime use, but in the cigarettes, and they were getting their tobacco through cigarettes. Now it's, a lot of kids are doing it through vaping, and there are some different perceptions out there that, vaping is not as bad as cigarettes, or, I'm not getting that much nicotine or whatever. And so we're going to look at, they actually measure that as part of the SHARP survey as well. And it's very, very interesting for you to go through. And I would encourage you to, to look at this. We're not going to go through a lot of the areas. This kind of goes into very specific, what kind of, these tobacco products, okay? Are they using chewing tobacco or cigars or hookahs or, whatever? They look at where, You know, where is this happening? And, you know, so it's very fascinating to go through a lot of these. I mean, they've got all different kinds of information, and you can look at that. So this is kind of the substance abuse, the different types of substances and whatnot. Okay. Now let's also go into, okay, the antisocial behavior. Okay. These are things like they ask questions. So just so that you know, so with the survey, you know, each of these areas has a series of questions that they ask to determine these areas. So for example, when it comes to antisocial behavior, they're going to ask questions like, you know, it's okay to tell a little white lie, or it's okay to slough school. And, you know, and they're going to kind of respond, they'll have the kids respond to that to determine kind of what their, you know, what their perception is regarding the antisocial behavior. They will ask about parental behaviors, and, you know, how would your parents, you know, the questions that would be asked is, you know, if my parents, you know, found out that I was drinking, they would be very upset. Or, you know, I would be, you know, my friends would think it was very, very cool if I, you know, helped another student. I mean, they have, as you know, some great questions that basically they're measuring all of these things with our kids, not only the usage, you know, and how often and what kind, and, you know, where are they getting it, but they're also, you know, measuring their attitudes. You know, how will my parents perceive this? How will my friends perceive this? You know, the school environment, do I feel safe? I'm just all of these different areas. Okay. Oh my goodness, time goes so quickly. I do want to, so I'm going through a lot of this very quickly, but I want you guys to you know, dive in. Feel free to dive in and look at the areas that are important to you. They've got the mental health, okay, and mental health treatments, and, you know, what's available, and again, the attitudes towards, you know, mental health, and, you know, what would, you know, how would my friends feel about, you know, if I had to get mental health treatment, and how would my parents feel, and, you know, the depression and anxiety, suicide indicators. It measures all of this. So these are what we call the risk factors. Okay. These are, and again, if you remember, if you were here when David Watkins talked about the, you know, that there are different risk factors, and then there are the protective factors. So kind of those factors in a child's life that might lead them to participate in these risky behaviors, whether it's the attitudes, you know, peer pressure from friends, the availability, you know, hey, if there's, you know, if there's an, you know, and they can purchase alcohol on every corner in a street, that is a higher risk area than somewhere that, you know, they have to drive to the next town, you know, to purchase it or whatever. So all of these fall in the area of risk factors and risky behaviors. Now we want to look at the other side of things, which is where we do a lot of work and of course, the work that we do with the Discovery Family Adventures are to benefit these, you know, to help decrease these risk factors. But what we are wanting to do is increase those protective factors. Okay, so you look here, the, you know, perception of peer disapproval and whatnot. The perception of risk, you know, they ask, you know, how risky do you think it is to use these different, you know, again, a student that thinks that there's, you know, there's no harm in vaping, it's not going to hurt my body, is more likely to vape than a student that goes, yeah, I know it's not good for my health, you know, and my parents would be unhappy, and, you know, my friends wouldn't think I was cool, and, you know, and all of that. So it kind of tests all of it. Now let's look at the, boy, it is way down here. Okay, here we go. And this just kind of shows, this is the, like the low neighborhood attachment Okay, now we're getting into the protective factors, okay? And I actually want to use a different chart that, well, maybe they're all here, okay. Oh yes, these are the different grades, okay. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so those were, there was a different page for each of the grades. Okay, so again, you know, keep in mind here we're looking at 6th grade. Okay, there's going to be, we can look at 8th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, and then they'll have it combined. Okay, so let's look at our 6th graders. These are the protective factors. These are the things, think of a bubble wrap. Okay, this is the bubble wrap that if you want to, if you're uncomfortable sending your child out the door, you know, without wrapping them up for protection, you guys, these are the bubble wraps. They're going to get teased if they go to school literally wrapped in bubble wrap or, you know, with a big ball. But these are the things you can do to, you know, not hypothetically, but anyway, these are the things that you literally can do to wrap your children in the protective factors. Okay. And it really boils down to rewards for, or opportunities for, and rewards for pro-social involvement at home, in the neighborhood, and at school. And then on this end of it, then there's the family bonding. Okay, that is just kind of the key. The family attachment there is what they're calling it. Okay.
Will you define pro-social?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've got your family, think of it, you've got your family attachment. Okay, that is the core. Okay, we really want, families need to bond. They need to have that relationship with, you know, with the important adults in their lives. Hopefully that's a parent, but you guys keep in mind, you can do this for other kids as well. Okay. You can be one of those caring adults for your children's friends. Okay, for people that you work with, I mean, in your youth group, at school, in your neighborhood, you can be that person. You can help provide this for other children as well. And then, you know, hopefully the other adults in their lives will also then help provide that for yours. You are one of those caring adults that can really have an impact on your child, but you also want to have other caring adults. And the more caring adults they have in their life, the more protected they are. So share the Discovery Family Adventures with the people that you know and the people who also interact with your children so that they're learning these skills. They can help provide these protective factors as well. So you've got your family attachment, then you have this category in the middle, if we will, that are the opportunities for and rewards for pro-social involvement. Now, what is pro-social involvement? That is basically doing good in the community, being involved in the community, interacting with, you know, with youth and with their peers and with other people. Okay, and this needs to be happening. They need opportunities for it, and they need to be recognized for it at home, in the community, and at school. Okay, we focus very, very much on at home, of course, the basic adventure, the, you know, suggestions for teens and for the younger, the pre-K, the tips section, teaching important parenting strategies. Okay, these are all focused on supporting parents in providing this at home. Okay, then we have our community engagement level adventures. And this is why I really encourage you to do some of those. Okay, you don't have to do all of them. Okay, but do make sure that you're doing the community engagement level with your children as well and with your families, because they need to connect to their community. And that is one of the areas that we're really struggling in, and COVID did not help. Kids and families in general, this is the other cool thing, you guys, what your kids need, you need as an adult as well. So as you do these adventures with your family, you're also benefiting. You will also start to feel those connections to the community. Reach out and and help them connect with their community and feel a part of the community as they serve the neighbors around them and they organize, you know, neighborhood events. They're going to get to know the people in the neighborhood and they'll feel a part of the neighborhood. That is an important protective factor. And then there's the one other area that's belief in the moral order, which is kind of tied to, you know, belonging to a specific, whether it's a church group or, you know, maybe it's a Boys and Girls Club, a Cub Scout, or, you know, the scouting program, kind of that moral, you know, being associated with an organization that teaches, you know, teaches morals. And, you know, and again, we don't focus a lot in that area, but we empower you as the parent to help provide that. The reason we don't, I mean, you know, you'll notice in the adventures, okay, we never come out and say, hey, you should teach your kids, you know, this and this and this and this about, you know, the way, I mean, these moral beliefs. What we'll do is throw out the general idea, and then we want you to teach your kids what your values are and have those discussions, you know, with them and whatnot. Okay. So we're not going to go into any specifics, you know, in, you know, belief in the moral order, but we will support you as parents. We work in those opportunities for you as the parent to have that discussion with your child, to share your, you know, your values and, you know, and what you kind of where you are in that area. So these are the areas that we are really focused on trying to support families and empower families. Again, looking at it here, you can see, okay, rewards for pro-social involvement. That's actually moving in the wrong direction. You noticed with the risk factors, we wanted it to be low, right? If it was at 0, that would be great. Okay, nothing was at 0, but hey, the lower we got it, the better. With the protective factors, we want that number to be high. Okay, we want 100% of kids to say, yes, I have plenty of rewards for pro-social behavior. And yes, I feel totally connected to my family. This is a little scary here. When you look at this, okay, first of all, it's moving in the wrong direction, but look at that. Only 7 out of 10 kids are feeling connected to their families. That's a scary statistic right there. Okay, only 7 in 10 kids are feeling like they have opportunities for pro-social involvement. Okay, so we as a program, we're going to, you know, try to help provide those opportunities, but what we really need are for the parents to then utilize. You guys are the ones that spend that time with your kids. So we're going to support you. We want to empower you to provide those opportunities for the pro-social involvement. And again, then the rewards for pro-social involvement, that's even worse. Look, that's up here, only just over half, just barely over half of our kids feel like they're rewarded for pro-social involvement. Somebody notices, okay, this doesn't need to be, I mean, a reward isn't, you know, it doesn't have to be a tangible, okay? This is that they're feeling like, yeah, somebody noticed, it matters. You know, somebody appreciated that. It made a difference. My pro-social involvement made a difference in my community. And you've got almost half of the kids that are, you know, that are saying, you know, yeah, it's, you know, first of all, you've got 6 out of 10, or I guess 4 out of 10 that are saying, hey, I don't even have any opportunities for pro-social behavior. And then you have even more that are saying, it doesn't really matter. Nobody notices. It doesn't. So again, this is where you as the parent can really make a difference in that area. We provide that you know, the family reward events, that's all part of, you know, providing the rewards for pro-social behavior. We're trying to assist with that, but the really important thing is that they're feeling that on a regular basis in your home, that you are noticing the good things that they do, that you notice that, you know, they're, I really appreciate how you helped your sister with that. That really made my life so much easier because I'm so grateful to have such a great big brother like you that's willing to step in. That makes a difference for me. That is a reward for that child who participated in that pro-social involvement and helped in a positive way. Okay.
Yeah, we do have a question here in the chat.
Oh, yes. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, Catherine was asking, does it matter where the reward comes from? Is it as effective to have family notice when those in the community don't?
You know what, Catherine, that is an excellent question. And the answer for that, I think, is going to be a little bit different for every child. Okay, it kind of goes, if you're familiar with the love languages and how we all have a different love language. There are kids who love to get the, to be recognized on maybe a wider, like from the community, whereas other kids, are they're like, you know what, oh, I don't even want to be recognized. And that would be kind of a, but the bottom line is everything you do as a parent helps. I mean, it absolutely helps. And I really believe that with most kids, that what they really want is mom and dad's love and attention and that reward from them. Yes, everything outside of that, that's nice too, and yeah, getting to go swimming as a family. Okay, that's nice. And especially, if they know that that's tied to, a reward for having done all these things together as a family, that can help. And it's kind of on a different, it's a different kind of reward. But I really believe that you, the parents, have the greatest power to be able to provide that reward. And like I said, the reward, it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be tangible. It's that recognition, that attention, that acknowledgement, with that child knowing that, you know what, mom noticed. Wow, mom noticed that. Mom took time to listen to just me. I mean, she's so busy. I know she's busy, and she had a lot of things that she probably wanted to be doing. And she sat down and just talked to me. I mean, those are the kinds of rewards that are going to build that really solid foundation for a child that they know they have that caring adult in their corner. And so then when the struggles come up, I mean, think about it in terms of this. When they have a challenge, okay, your kids aren't going to come to, Sharilee and Megan or to Tori, and because we provided them with a community reward. Okay. And that's why, I mean, the community rewards are not even built to do that. They're not designed to do that. They're designed to help you. I mean, you go to that event with your family. It's not important for us to even be there to say, hey, welcome, and we're glad you're here. It's not about your kids bonding with you. It's about, or with us, it's about your kids bonding with you. And so that's really, I hope that answers your question. But I guess what I would say, I really feel that the parents are the most important. And then as far as even the way we do it, that's going to vary from child to child. And again, that's why it's really important for you to know your children, listen to your children. You've probably noticed through the tips section, there's so many times there are some things that just come up over and over and over. And one of those is listen to your child and really get to know your child. Do more listening than you do talking, so that which child needs that recognition. And which child needs the tangible sticker, even if it's just a sticker. Some kids will get super excited about a sticker, and that just makes them super happy, and other kids could care less, but they want that extra time. Okay, I will tell you, with my kids, they were so different. Okay, and that's why, like, even with I guess we use the word discipline, consequences. Okay, that's what I used, consequences, with my kids. And they were totally different. Okay, because if my daughter, like if I just said, okay, if we don't get the homework done, then there's, no TV time. Okay, my daughter would have cared less. My boys would have died. I mean, that's just, that they loved their, their TV time and their Xbox time. Now, on the other hand, if I had said, if you don't have your homework done, you can't go to the park with your friends. Okay, the boys would have cared less. They had no desire to go to the park with their friends. My daughter would have been fit to be tied, probably would have run away. That was so important to her. So yeah, you need to know, the different things, what your kids, what's going to matter to your kids. But great question, Catherine. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Catherine. So you guys, what I would love to have you do is, as I mentioned, the good thing about our program, the exciting thing about what we're doing is that we really are, upstream, as far upstream as you can get. We want to start with families and support families and empower parents from the get-go. From the minute that child is born, we want to be supporting and empowering, and in doing so, it's the very foundation of prevention, every kind of prevention, okay? Prevention of underage drinking, misuse of drugs, bullying, E-Cig and vaping, and even suicide, okay? It is the foundation, this family attachment, these rewards, opportunities for and rewards for pro-social involvement are the very foundation of that. And we do have some exciting programs for schools that we're working on as well. So we're even trying to help in that area. So that's the exciting thing about the program, is that it really does help in all of these areas. But as mentioned, we also have the ability to support other programs, okay, and other, messaging, okay? So for example, we have here in Davis County, a big thing that they're really focusing on is a program called Everyday Strong. We can support Everyday Strong, okay? Up in Cache Valley, they have, right now I know there's a big focus, and this isn't necessarily in the, a prevention area that we're familiar with, but they're doing a really big push on, pre-diabetes and training and trying to get the word out about that. We can help with that. We can help with, whatever the programs are, we can support those programs, help get them to parents, help empower the parents to, to get that information to their families. We can also help with messaging. And this is where you guys come in, especially. If you go through this data and you say, you know what, in my area, we really need to focus on, on vaping. Vaping is a problem, okay? And again, it doesn't necessarily mean just because it's moving, the data's moving in the right direction, that it's not a problem. It might be moving in the right direction, but it's still, if you have 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 kids that are vaping, okay, that's still a problem. Yes, we want it to move in the right direction. And quite honestly, we want to get it down to where it's 0. But what you can do is, if you see an area in your focus, I guess I should say, an area of focus that is really an issue in your community, let us know, and we can up the messaging there, okay? Because all of that is part of it. As we talked about, the kids' perception. One thing that was really interesting last year, as I was going through the data, there were a very high percentage of parents that reported that they had, I guess it would have been the Sharp survey. Where would I have gotten that? Anyway, it was other data, I guess, that we were looking at, but there was a high percentage of parents that felt like they had talked to their kids about, drug abuse and drug use and whatnot. And yet a very low percentage of the students that were reporting that, hey, we, our parents have talked to us, and this is how the parents would. Do you remember where that was?
We were in a conversation with somebody at Mountain Crest High School, and they talked about the message getting from the gate to the kids, getting to the parents. And yes, they paid people to make a phone call to 10% of the student bodies,
Yes.
families, and very, very, very few had heard anything.
Yes, yes, that's another thing that, again, we've been working a lot with the schools, and I don't know if you could hear what Megan was saying, but there's also a real problem with getting the messaging to the families, and that's an area where we can really help. In a way, we've gamified prevention, okay? And you know what, however we feel about, you know, gamifying, it's, you know, it tends to work. It's more fun, okay? And of course, you know, we're not, there are different ways of gamifying. This isn't like Xbox gamifying, but we've made it fun. We're taking the prevention, the content, and we're making it fun for families. And then we're throwing on a reward, which adds to that fun. But anyway, we can help with the message. And if we need to, we can step up the message in a specific area to help educate, so that, again, if students are saying, you know, hey, vaping's not, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have nicotine in it. That's education that needs to take place, because it does, and it is not good for bodies. And so we can help, you know, kind of step up the messaging in your community. So did that make sense to everybody? I guess, again, to summarize it, the good news is what we do really truly is the foundation. So everything that we do is impacting all of it. But then on top of that, we do have the ability to step up that messaging component and support other programs and support the messaging. Okay,
I see another question at the bottom, maybe.
Oh,
no, maybe not. Oh, it was just Catherine saying thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, that's pretty much where we're at. Any thoughts, comments, anything you want to add?
One thing that I noticed when I looked up the report on the website, I was able to select it for the district that I wanted. And so that was really interesting to see where my district compared with the state as a whole. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes.
And so I could see, you know, in a lot of areas, my district is doing better. So that's great. And so then if there are some areas that my, you know, some of the concerns that my area is not doing better than the average or is doing worse than the average, then that's kind of a big deal. And I can see that easily.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out, Tori. So again, we're on the statewide, okay? So this is comparing it nationally, but you'll see here, so here's kind of the statewide. This is the national, okay? So that we can see here that, okay, family conflict, yes, we are, you know, we are doing better than the national, but then you can see here, okay, depressive symptoms, look at this. We're significantly higher than the national. And in the attitudes favorable to antisocial behavior, shocking, but true, okay? That one actually, that really surprises me, okay? But then yes, as Tori was saying, if you're looking at your community in your health district, then it's going to compare it to the state norms. So you can see that, you know, okay, here's where we are, you know, statewide, we're below the average, we're above the average. So yeah, really good point, Tori. You guys, there are some really fun tools. And when you go to that, I'm actually going to, I thought if I went back, but let's see. We'll just do sharp. Oh, clearly okay. I'm way down low. We had to set this up on, there we go. Okay. So, okay, so yeah, if you just search Sharp Survey 2021, you pull it up here, you'll be able to see there you've got, I mean, you've got all of the data here from the time they started keeping data, which was in 2009. You guys, these are also very cool. If you go into the Sharp Web tool, there are lots of fun tools in here that you can get really, really specific with, okay? We didn't go into a lot of that, the specifics. But yeah, you can see here, okay, so if we do the 2021, see there you've got everything by your county. And it's very, very interesting. So I would love to have you guys look through this. If you have anything that you would like to share and say, you know, hey, could we focus on this for my community? We would love that. We've got some fun messaging campaigns in a lot of these different areas. And we can, like I said, kind of step up the game in your area in that particular topic. So, okay, if we're good with that, if there are no other questions, I'll turn it back actually to Megan.
Yeah, let's stop sharing the screen.
Oh, yes.
So they can actually see.
There we go.
Awesome. Okay, I'm assuming there are no questions. Everybody probably would have already asked since you asked that, but I wanted to let you know that next Monday is Valentine's Day. So guess what? We're not having parent conversations. I'm sure there's lots of Valentine teas, and if they still do those, I did those when my kids were little. So go enjoy those. And the following Monday is a holiday. So that would be 1, 2, 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, we will see you back for parent conversations. And if I remember the topic off the top of my head, I would tell you, but I do not. So watch for posts in the Facebook group and on the Discovery app. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Okay.
Okay, you guys are awesome. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.